Good morning. Happy Thursday. We are in Hebrews chapter 12, verses 1 through 3. I want to read this passage again. We keep meditating on it, but there is so much there. So let me read it. Therefore, since we are surrounded by such a great cloud of witnesses, let us throw off everything that hinders and the sin that so easily entangles, and let us run with perseverance the race marked out for us, fixing our eyes on Jesus, the pioneer and perfecter of faith. For the joy set before him, he endured the cross, scorning its shame, and sat down at the right hand of the throne of God. Consider him who endured such opposition from sinners, so that you will not grow weary and lose heart. So yesterday we took a slight break from thinking about joy. For the joy set before him, he endured the cross. We started that on Tuesday, but I was responding to some questions about suffering. How could Christ's suffering be good news for us? And how am I to think about the fact that when I'm suffering, God is punishing me? And I made the point that we're suffering, the suffering of Christ is because he's our high priest. We have a priest, we have an advocate who understands our life, and that we don't suffer the punishment of our sin from God. We might suffer the consequences of our sin, but he has borne that for us, and then made a distinction between shame and guilt. So I want to return to the topic of joy. It is, after all, the serious business of heaven. And God is the most joyful being in the universe. And we are, this was the point we stopped with, we are commanded to be joyful. Over and over in the Bible, the Old Testament in particular, I should say the Psalms in particular, but throughout the Bible, we are commanded to be joyful, to rejoice, to be not just thankful, but to have joy. And so I said, look, this suggests that we may not understand joy. Joy is not, it's either not an emotion, because we often feel like we can't fully control our emotions. It's either not an emotion, or it's more than an emotion, or we have more control over our emotions than we might think. And so, look, I'm not suggesting that God promises us health and wealth so that we'll be joyful. Better than that. I am not arguing that you should pursue God so that you'll be joyful. Right? God is not a means to an end. But I am challenging some assumptions around joy. And I do think that life works better when we learn this. I think that life works better when we make a decision for joy. I think that we have more energy when we make decisions for joy. I think that joy makes sin less attractive. And so I think we need to be more aware of this command to be joyful. And I want to encourage you just to do something that I've encouraged you to do numerous times, and that is to ponder the things. I mean, that prayer, we're told prayer works, right? The prayers of a righteous person accomplishes much. Part of what it accomplishes is that it changes us. And so just the very fact of rehearsing our blessings, of being thankful to God for the things that he's done, is going to change us. I also want you to understand that this passage, what it says is that for the joy set before him, Christ endured the cross. Joy is often the byproduct of a life rightly lived. Joy is generally understood to be it's not what we pursue, but it is a benefit of what we pursue. Obedience leads to joy. So as you are pondering the day, as you are pondering challenges, as you are pondering wrestling with suffering that you may be going through right now, I want to encourage you to come back to this Hebrews 12, 1 through 3 passage, because I think there's a lot here for us to shape our thinking. We live in a world that is constantly trying to shape our thinking and our mood, and it's got algorithms to do it, right? Don't be subject to those. Yield to the Holy Spirit. Ask him. I did it already this morning, one of the first things. Holy Spirit, guide my thoughts, guide my heart, shape me. I want what you offer. Love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, gentleness, goodness, faithfulness, self-control. These are the things that we're after. And they come through a life pursuing God, a life rightly lived. Have a good day.